Board games is what we want to play. Board games to enjoy our day. Board games is what we want to play. Board games to enjoy our play. As I look on the screen around me, here is Ree and here is Laurie, two people that I've invited to come and play a game we you might be delighted, and we are going to play Cubirds. That's what we're going to play today. Hey, and good afternoon, good morning, good whatever it says, wherever folk are. And this is Playful Shenanigans. And this is something that I used to say it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that ran for a few weeks. But of course, as of this Thursday, I am going to be having one epic 24-hour, 25 plus hour stream to kind of celebrate an end of a thing, and then I definitely won't stream until Tuesday at least. I'll be taking a few weeks off to try and finish my things, but this is not about me. This is not a show all about me and who I am. This is about Ree and Laurie. So can we have a wee bit of some introductions? Let's go clockwise, maybe. Laurie, who are you?
Okay, my name's Laurie Blake. I'm the CEO and lead designer of SDR Games, that's Stop, Drop and Roll. And we have just finished fulfilling our first board game, Pugs in Mugs, and getting that out to all of our backers. And then now we are working on getting ready to launch our new game, Earth Rising. And yeah, we're super excited for it.
That sounds awesome, and I think it would be lovely to have more games and media in general that tackles the problem that we've got of climate chaos and everything, kind of. But I like the fact that your game approaches it from a more optimistic point of view, saying, hey, we are in this dire situation, but we might be able to get out of it. So, Ree, you are also part of SDR, right?
Yep, I am indeed. I do the various social media and marketing, which means if you speak to anyone online, it is probably me. I scream into the void about our games, and sometimes people will scream back. So,
I love that way of putting it. It's like, yeah. So, I wanted to ask you, how much research did it take you over the course of making this game, and how much did you want to make sure that this game is true to reality, like the lessons learned are actually some things that we could do?
An impossible amount, like just a crazy amount. Basically, after my own initial fact-finding mission that took about a year and a half, where I basically tried to go down into each of the 6 kind of core sectors of what makes a society function. So agriculture, culture, infrastructure, industry, politics, and energy. I tried to boil it down to 7 distinct things that are unsustainable about our societies. What is making it at odds with the environment? Why is it that we're not able to, why is it that we are damaging our planet through how we live? And by narrowing it down to each of those sort of 7 things, I also then had to task myself with finding out what could we do that achieves the same result, but in a way that is synergistic with nature, in a way that is better for both our world and also for us. What ways both make things, would be able to stop the decline of our ecosystems, and in some cases actually make things better, reverse the damage that we've already done. And I won't deny that the first part of that research was incredibly depressing. Oh my goodness. But the great thing is that the second part, where I'm looking at the solutions and all of that, are incredibly hopeful. The fact is that everything that we need in order to transform our societies into something that would make everything better, not just for the earth, but also for ourselves as people, are all things that exist and are in practice and are real and are things that have been tested and proven to actually work. There's no science fiction. There's no need for someone to find a solution we haven't found yet. It's all there and ready. It just needs to be put into place in scale, and for us to stop using the things that are making things worse. Sorry, Bez, you seem to have muted yourself.
Well, the societal problems are sometimes the real issue. Even if we don't need invention, sometimes societal reform can be the most difficult thing of all.
It's true. And I think the biggest thing that we need in order to be able to reform our society is awareness. And that, I think, is the most important part to me about the mission of Earth Rising, is that you're playing a game where you see the cause and effect of what all of our practices have. It's not enough to just go, oh, well, this one's bad. You know, deforestation, that's a bad thing. It is a bad thing. So is this, and so is this, and so is this. And taking away one doesn't take away the collective damage of all the others. At the same time, it's if you are to literally in the game flip over one to be something better, that's great. That's a victory, and you should celebrate that. But it's not enough. We have to keep going. And the awareness of what it is that we need to change is the first step towards changing it. And until we start to be able to see things in the bigger picture, until we start to see how, you know, these things add up to a greater whole, a greater scale, we're not really able to engage with the problem on its actual level. And not to mention that lots of people talk about the climate crisis as this big, unknowable, unstoppable, you know, forces. You know, how can we affect all these different things? How can we affect infrastructure in Brazil? How can we affect the manufacturing in China? And the answer is that every time someone is made aware of a problem, they themselves have the power to act differently. If you go, well, hang on a minute, I'm going to change my buying habits based on what I know and what I've learned, that in your singular one way has made a difference. When 5 million people do that thing, that's 5 million people's worth of difference. When 2 billion people do that one thing, that's an entire world change. You know, it's if each one of us does one small thing that makes a difference, and then like that in turn, you know, even if you're just going, well, actually, I want this. You go to a protest, you go to a rally, you say on the internet, this needs to change because it's wrong. Someone else hears that, someone else will do that. And it all is this snowballing thing. And we have the internet now. We have the most powerful means of communication the human race has ever had. We can connect with people across the other side of the world within seconds. And
yeah, even if I drop some frames, the fact that we are talking and I can talk whether people are in Japan, and it's just almost mind-blowing.
It's incredible. It's the most amazing thing. We have so much power at our fingertips on an individual level, more than we've ever had in our entire lives. And not even our entire lives, our entire existence as humans. And it has been shown now more than ever that, you know, the acts and actions of individuals are able to affect people across the globe. Black Lives Matter was a response to injustices happening in America. And yet you had rallies across the world about it.
But still, there is still systemic racism going on against dark-skinned people in America, and you know, it continues. It's not as if we managed to fix that problem. Oh, Black Lives Matter was a thing. It's still
totally
a thing.
And the fight goes on. And that's why Earth Rising is set over 20 years. Because it's not about what you accomplish now, it's about what you accomplish long term. Each of those little fights that you manage to change something in a small way, when you change perception, when you change how things are done on a societal level, as a result, these things collectively go around the board, and they influence how our society acts on a greater level. It takes time. It absolutely does take time, but we can't begin to take that time until we accept that taking that time will make a difference. Making those changes will actually have the real effects that we need. And that's the message.
I've heard the arguments that individual responsibility in the incremental value of small individual changes is less than the value of lobbying or rallying. And what we really ultimately need to do is to vote greener parties into power. Vote for the Green Party, even though they might not be so likely to come into power, because if everyone thinks that way, yeah, sure, they'll never go into power. But they do have members of parliament who have actually managed to, it's not just a two-party system, literally, or three-party system in the UK. I mean, at least we're a wee bit better than the US in that manner. But,
to some degree.
Yeah, but what do you think, if we want to kind of put a cap on this conversation and maybe start with the game, what do you think would be the one thing you'd recommend folk doing?
Go for it, Ree.
I'm going to field this one. Get involved in your local community's efforts to put a halt on climate change. Community is the biggest and most effective way of halting things. Or, everyone individually is great, but when you join together as a community, you get to exchange resources, and it's a much better way of doing it. So find out what in your local community is going on and get involved in any way you can.
I like that. So don't feel like you have to start anything. Go out there, look at what has already been started, and empower others. Be that, it doesn't take a hero. It doesn't take a bunch of individuals. It takes a real community effort. I love that.
Definitely. In fact, if anything, I can almost guarantee, if you think to yourself, well, if I had the time, if I had the money, if I had whatever, what I would do is I would make something about this issue. Look up in your local area or within your reach about whether or not someone else has already done that. And I can almost guarantee that you will find others who also believe in the thing that you believe in, who also think that that matter is important and needs to be spoken about. And joining with those people, as Ree says, makes a huge difference. Not just because it makes you feel less alone, but also because, together you're that much stronger.
No, thank you for spreading that word, and I hope that you will, if you feel able to, share the message of the game, not only to those who are, of course, buying the physical game, but also through some of the research you've done. Maybe you'll be able to share the message through the updates, through essays, through social media, everything.
We'll be doing all of that, and also on top of that, we are providing the game to be able to be played for free on Tabletop Simulator and Screentop, and that's not going to go away after our Kickstarter campaign. That will always be accessible. So
amazing.
We are kickstarting the game in order to receive a physical copy, and ultimately the physical copy is what it requires us to pay to have it be made. The digital copy, anyone who wants to play the game, who wants to experience it with other people nearby or around the world, they can play it for free.
It's fab. And Ree, do you have anything left to say before we crack on with the game?
No, I'm quite happy to get playing.
Okay. Well, if you check out Board Game Arena, you will see that I have invited you to a game, and we are playing Cubirds, a strange little game of collecting sets of birds. I played this quite a while ago, and I've not even looked up the rules, but I'm sure it'll come back. Have you two had a play? Have you looked up any of the rules? And hello, hello to Alex in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us. But tell me, what brought you to this game?
I love birds.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what it comes down to. I did a master's degree in animal behaviour, and I ended up doing my thesis on gulls. And although there are no gulls in this game, I love birds and I love the art style. So I thought, why not?
Fantastic.
If ever you want a random bird fact, Bree is the person to go to. Like you can, in fact, almost random animal fact, but birds are her specialty. There's no doubt.
I think that Alex is going to start testing you. And yeah, maybe we should have like a random fact about each bird that you lay down.
Oh, that's pushing it. That one is.
Every time you get a collection, Ree, you got to tell us a random fact about the bird that you got a collection of.
All right, I'll give it a go. Don't mind me just quickly opening Google.
Cubirds is fun, says Alex. Very mean, but fun.
Yeah.
It is. Okay, so I'm up first.
So.
Good decision. Let's go for that. All right.
So what in this game you're trying to get 3 of one kind or 5 of different ones? Let me double check the.
So the numbers
3 of one species or 7 different species.
Yes.
And here this means that you need 3 to get 1 set and 4 to get 2 sets. But you're kind of pushing your luck if you try to get more than 1 at a time. I am going to be laying down my robin. So you need to lay down all of the birds of one kind. And I'm going to put them down in order to actually, if I pop this one down, because if you put something down and then you sandwich stuff, then you get to put down a whole bunch of, then you get everything that was sandwiched within 2 like birds. And because I had 3 flamingos, I get to play them as double flamingos. So I have 2 flocks.
Very nice.
Ah, yes, I remember. It's all coming back to me. This is a very interesting game. The fact that you need to play down everything of one type is a really interesting one. The fact that, there's a little push your luck. The fact that when I think one person runs out of cards, everything's shuffled back in.
Everything gets wiped, yeah.
That's it. There's quite a surprising amount of tactical elements to do with it on that basis, really. Like the first time we played it, it was a bit kind of, we were like, yeah, okay, we're just kind of getting it. And then the sort of second and third time, it was like, oh, actually, this is quite deep. Wow.
Yeah.
So when did you try this for the first time? Have you been playing it to bits with each other?
Yeah.
Yeah,
about a week ago, wasn't it?
Not even a week ago, just a few days ago.
Okay.
We decided to give it a go, just to get to grips with the rules a bit first. But I'll be honest, we read the rules, played the game, and haven't really looked back at the rules since. We've just been sort of figuring it out as we go.
So how many cards in hand? You've got 7, you've got 8. It's interesting because in theory, you don't know what other people have in their hand, but then in a real game, I could imagine starting to try to memorize what's going on with the other person, especially in 2-player.
Yeah.
Laurie, do you tend to play a lot of Board Game Arena?
Truth be told, actually, I've mostly been on Tabletop Simulator until recently. I've been trying out more games on Board Game Arena, and yeah, actually, it's better than I anticipated. I thought that it seemed a bit kind of bare bones from afar, and then when I started playing the games themselves, actually seemed way better. Yeah,
it's interesting. It doesn't. I mean, the fact that the AI or the computer enforces the rules for you, it definitely makes it feel very different. But I find that there's a cognitive load associated with manipulating 3D objects in a virtual space, or indeed an unfamiliarity even with a 2D space. Sometimes I'm like, okay, where do I need to click? Sometimes Board Game Arena does annoy me. But the fact that it then takes control of the rules, makes sure that I don't do anything wrong, that makes it, it makes it more relaxing in quite a few ways.
I think there's going to be a slight dependence on the quality of the designer, I suppose, in a way, because obviously all the games on Board Game Arena are very, they're all designed by volunteer people who know how to code and similar. And so if they're really good, then you'll have a really neatly made and very easy to follow game. But obviously if they're new to coding, or if they're not quite used to having to sort of make games in this format, then it could be that the game isn't quite so good. It's possible when I first played a game, like a good 2 years ago.
Oof. Oh my gosh, all those.
That first experience.
I just snuck in and took those. Don't worry.
And Alex says it's much harder to cheat on Board Game Arena, an integral part of all good co-ops. How about Yuri? What are your thoughts on Board Game Arena?
Yeah, I'm quite enjoying it. Likewise, I think when I first tried it out, I to be honest, I got a little bit overwhelmed by trying to figure out how to work the website. But since then, I've come out, I've tried again, and now I'm playing board games every day, which is ideal. Who doesn't want to play board games every day?
Legit.
Yeah, it is just so easy, and I think that's a lot of the people on Board Game Arena are kind of playing it maybe because they're more about the mechanics and they're happy to play with strangers. I've seen a lot more people doing that sort of thing on Board Game Arena, just be like, yeah, I want to try this game. And it's a very different environment. You do lose out on a little bit of that social experience, but you still enjoy the how do these rules work out. And
So I'm drawing a blank at facts about a certain version we've got in this game, to be honest. But I will tell you a fact about seagulls, because why not? Herring gull mothers will sing to their eggs before they hatch.
That's really cute.
It is adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not the normal squawking that you hear either. It's quite a gentle and verbal they do with the eggs. It's very cute.
And of course, in real life, there would be a little bit of hidden information, but there is the potential for you to see exactly what's in my hand if you so desire.
No, I'm definitely not doing that.
No, we don't cheat. But that said, I am at a bit of an impasse here. Okay. That seems like a really weird move, so that's not.
So we can see I've got 2 flamingos, 1 parrot, 1 magpie, and 1 robin. Laurie has 1 parrot, 1 toucan, and 1 duck. And Ree has 1 duck, 1 flamingo, and 1 parrot. Do you have any facts for us about flamingos, parrots, or ducks?
Flamingos eat and drink with their heads upside down because of the curve of their beak. They have to put their head upside down in order to eat.
And I am going to get rid of them and...
Oh, harsh.
Sorry, Ree.
No.
If it wasn't going to be you, it was going to be me next turn, so...
Very well played.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to start again. So there's a really strong incentive to scupper people with that move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any facts on ducks?
Duck facts. They aren't particularly good at digesting bread. It's better than nothing, but if you want to go to your local park and feed the ducks, try defrosted frozen peas or lettuce.
Defrosted peas.
Or I guess there's peas from a tin as well, isn't there?
And Alex has hashtag burb facts, which I guess is bird facts that aren't genuine. Flamingos stand on one leg because they like to look fancy.
That's definitely it.
Okay. Oh, I need a quick moment to think. Oh my gosh, I think this is... Yep. Not much good going on.
There are so many toucans.
I know.
I just need to...
So, did you know as well that flamingos are pink due to their diet?
It's because of the little things in the water, is that right?
Yeah, so they eat shrimp, plankton, things like that. And that is why they are pink. But often, if you see them at the zoo, they are not pink because they can't quite replicate that diet well enough for them to maintain that brilliant pink that you see in the wild.
Huh.
Nice.
Yeah. They were just sitting there. It would have been rude not to.
It would have been.
So if Ree gets one more toucan collection, so just 3 toucans and Ree will have one.
Yep.
I have a
Can't.
feeling you're going to try and stop me from getting through to.
But conversely, if I get some more flamingos, then I will have one.
Ta-da!
Not quite.
Is that not it?
It's not gone through, has it?
3 birds of one species. Let me double check.
4 or more. So I think it has to be
2
We will need
species.
to double her toucans.
Oh, 7 species or 2 of at least 3 birds. Oh. So 3 of 1 bird is completely worthless.
Oh no.
Yep. I completely got that wrong. And hello, Panic. Lovely to see you. And Alex gives another non-bird fact. Duck quacks don't echo. The echo that you're hearing is a figment of your imagination.
I can believe that.
Okay, so... Yeah. This is... like... Oh. It's ready to go.
Okay. This is a hard one. Alright, let's give that a go.
Robins are the smallest superhero in terms of volumetric weight.
Robins are actually surprisingly violent little birds.
Yeah, they are. Aggressive little buggers.
They are very aggressive and very territorial, but they also have quite a big territory space as well for their species.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cheeky.
Oof. So Laurie's got another magpie. And so if my understanding is correct, if you get a parrot, a toucan, or a reed warbler, you will have one.
Yes.
All the sound of things, yep.
Conversely, if I get a parrot, magpie, owl, basically if I get anything, I'll have one, I think. Except for flamingo or robin. Tricky, tricky.
So if you had to pick a favourite bird out of the lineup here, Bez, which would you pick?
Oh, I mean, flamingos pretty fancy, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not love the flamingo? Although parrots, they talk about you, potentially. Oof.
Magpies like shiny things. I can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, okay.
Toucans were the spokesbird for Guinness. And hello, Bad Pretty. Thank you for joining us. Toucans are surprisingly good at doing things on their own. I like that pun. Did you hear that one, Ree?
Two can play at that game.
Okay. Gosh darn it. I have no clue.
It gets tricky with this game. Sometimes you're playing and you can see the road ahead and you know exactly where you're going to go, and then other times it's just random chaos.
And I'm going to... Ooh. There we go.
Nice.
Nice.
Well done.
Yay. Thank you very much. So what happened there is I put it to the side so I didn't pick up anything. And then I drew 2 cards, which is my right. And I will give you both little thumbs up. Thank you very much for playing that. Would you like another wee go?
Yeah, I'm up for it. Yeah.
I should... and... Yep, I see... there's a message from Stream Elements. Firstly, stretching time side to side. If anyone needs a reminder, make sure that you sometimes get out of your seat and sometimes do a wee stretch. Wait a little bit more for Laurie.
I would join you in the stretching, but I'm hypermobile and stretching is not always the best idea for me, so I'll leave that up to Laurie. You can stretch for me.
I can stretch.
And then secondly, Stream Elements is telling everyone that I stream 12 times a week, which was true last week, but this week I am streaming after today. I will stream Wednesday and then Thursday for an epic 25 hours, and then that's it. I should just delete that one. So, Laurie, have you found a game or?
It's popped up. There we go. It is doing it.
Boom. Yay.
Okay. Oh, it's me first.
Okay. Yep. Seems to be the same turn order, like the same order around the table, but just a different start player. That's interesting. I found that if I keep playing with the same people, it always ends up with the same order, like the same seating arrangement, but different turn order. I wonder if that's true.
Could be an algorithm thing.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, I mean, just the notion of you place, and then if you don't pick up, you get to draw 2 bonus cards. I mean, it seems like it's a catch-up mechanism or I don't know, some sort of consolation prize, but yeah.
I think
Alex
as well,
says-
you can sometimes tell if you've got someone's like hoarding all of the birds, so you can wipe it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with your 11 cards.
What?
Some people prefer playing that way to take turns going first. Okay, I am going to...
I love seeing all of the different random first player starting rules as well. Various games.
Does this one have a special one?
I don't know that it does, and I don't know if they would actually even put that into Board Game Arena.
That's true.
Where am I going to go with this? Put down the reed warbler.
Hello, Runa. And yes, I would agree with what Runa says. This does look oddly cute. Very cuboid. I mean, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Just for some reason, we're going to turn all these birds into vague cubic shapes.
Angular birds.
Boxball.
Boxball.
Let me actually... I think that the draw 2 cards might be a fine option if there's nothing good going on.
Yeah, a little bit of extra sort of random like bits come in can sometimes make the difference between whether or not you've got nothing you can use and suddenly have a collection. But down to luck, really. So it looks like you got lucky.
I did get lucky with one of my cards, for sure.
Yeah.
Lagging behind.
Managed to get an owl, giving me my 3rd owl.
Very nice.
There's always the question of, do you want to cash it in now? Do you want to cash it in later? It reminds me a little bit of Bonanza, but whereas Bonanza, the push your luck is, do you keep ditching other things and giving them away, hoping that the cards that you really want will come out of the deck? In this, it's, do you hope that you'll get the 4th or the 6th card that you need before someone forces you to lay down everything?
Yeah.
I played a game with Laurie this morning, and I think I was working my way up to my 9 robins, and then you cleared my hand, didn't you? It was livid.
That was great. Good times.
Okay.
You want to play
And
Minecraft?
Alex suggests that a good starting player rule might be the person who most recently stood on a telephone wire.
Yeah.
True.
It might narrow things down a little bit. I don't know how often people have a tendency to go telephone wire climbing, but it will certainly out them very quickly.
Or maybe the last person to get pooped on by a bird.
Oh no. At least you get some consolation that way.
Well, they say it's lucky. They don't say how.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, poor birdies.
Where's my animal?
And Runa, of course, who has birds on stream, which is super lovely. When it's his time to leave, all these birds mix together, unable to organize themselves into flocks to fly home. Help them find their way back to the nest.
That's cute.
I am... Okay, yep, I'm going to go here. I really like the fact that this game allows you to... It doesn't just say you can't do anything, you have to pass. It's actually has a countdown for pass, and it allows you to wait and just to put in that little bit of bluffing elements into the game. That's a really nice implementation, I think.
definitely. It's very much got a, everything is an action as opposed to just a sort of consolation action, as it were. You're doing something specifically to do something else, and that's something I always really value in games, because there's quite a few games that I've played which are very it's if there's nothing else to do, then I guess I'll just do this. Whereas in games like this one, you have a sense of actually doing each potential action with purpose. Nothing is just an extra.
And it took me so. Normally, if I'm playing a brand new game, the way I play it is I start playing and I might play it with strangers, and then I'll keep playing it until I win it. And normally, I'm not saying I'm brilliant at games. Ooh. Oh. Just exciting to see what kind of comes out when a new thing comes. But yeah, if I'm playing 2-player or 3-player, then I should win like half the time or a third of the time. And ooh, maybe I'll take that.
Curses.
Nice.
And yeah, normally it'll take me a few games until sometimes I win on my first go, sometimes I win on my... Oh, nice.
That was
Reset things.
It was, wasn't it?
That was really cheeky. I can't believe you did that.
Ooh.
Okay, and now I get those back. Thank you.
I see. Storing them for later.
No, cashing them in.
Yep. Shouts out to Paula Denning. Lovely person.
I have a duck.
Congratulations. Brand new puzzle. What will I do with you?
What would you say is your favourite game on Board Game Arena, Bez?
I mean, my favorite game, full stop, is Go. But the Board Game Arena implementation, I'm not sure about it right now, because I think that to teach someone Go easily, it's really nice if you can sort of explain things on the board and give them handicaps. The handicaps are so ingrained into that game. I don't have a favorite game on Board Game Arena. I just like exploring the wide variety of games that there are. I think Lucky Numbers is probably the one that I've played the most times after I won, if you know what I mean. And I was like, oof, cheeky. Okay. How about you? Do you have favorites?
Not yet. I feel like I've still got a lot of games to try out on here before I can pick a favourite. But we played, was it Saluna we played earlier?
Yeah, Saluna, that was quite fun.
Yeah, that was incredibly simple. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it for ages. And so my brain just wants to go back and keep trying. Maybe this is where it made me like, was it 4 or 5 times in a row?
Yeah.
If you run into something like that, and Panic says, I just played the crew on here and really enjoyed it. That's a really nice game, full stop.
I'd seen the crew. I haven't played it yet, but I've been, I've been keeping my eye on it. I'd quite like to give it a go, so I'll definitely check that one out.
Yeah, agreement from Alex, and I know that Xate is all about the crew. Yeah, Xate, if anyone wants someone to play the crew with, I think I know someone who might be willing to play with you.
Cool.
Nice.
Well, this is where I slightly regret not having held out. But hey ho.
Yeah, folks, do actually add me on Board Game Arena, and I will happily play the crew with you. Actually, now that I realise that's definitely something I can say here and offer. Come play the crew with me. Hit me up. Add me as a friend.
It's nice, isn't it, being able to... I think that I didn't realise how important it was to have spaces like this to be able to make new friends and play online until the pandemic hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that going forwards, like after my 25-hour stream, I am going to keep Tuesday as my one, day of online streaming, because I think that's the thing. Things like this, and oh my gosh darn it.
Oh no. I was so close to getting all my rewalkers. You monster.
Yeah, what can I say? Sorry, I guess.
So free.
No, I'm not. Sorry. Okay. What do I want?
I think that if I had to say, do I prefer playing games online? Do I prefer playing games in real life? I think that physically would be my preference, but there are still some good qualities about online play for sure.
As someone who's chronically ill, playing games online is just perfect for me.
Yeah, you find leaning over tables and such quite difficult.
I do, and also if we go somewhere to play games, I can't always go because, broken. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and just having access to everything on here. And Panic says, I like being able to play with people I would never play with otherwise. Yeah, absolutely. Like the fact that with Panic, I played... when was it? Was it a week and a half ago, Panic, that we played that Potion Explosion? That was good fun. And yeah, like Alex Aquasulis in the chat, quite often pops in on Tuesday evenings, and that's a really nice thing, getting people together. Whereas in reality, we might be... It doesn't matter whether you're 50 miles apart or 1,000 miles apart.
Yeah, my Jasper lives in America, so very long way away, and yet it's really good fun to play Zombicide with him and stuff like that. So it's it's really nice to be able to have those kinds of activities where you can join that with someone. So yeah.
Has the dog finally stopped bugging you?
Yeah.
Likes to join in, don't you? Yeah.
Paying attention to something that isn't me? How dare you?
I had to steal Terrence because he kept making him squeak.
Yeah.
How long have you had your dog?
Ooh, 8 months now?
Yeah.
He's a Hungarian rescue. But he's a sweetie.
Yeah.
Fuzzy little thing.
If a bit of a brat.
He is a bit of a brat, yeah. He doesn't like not getting his own way. And he will grumble at us like an old man. Like, properly grumble.
Wow.
It's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Tobin, you want to come up in your chat?
Come on, Owl. Yeah, and having those two different win mechanisms, I think, is really neat. The fact that you've got to watch out. I mean, getting an owl or the magpies is going to win, but then if you are playing two players, I think free players. I'm not paying so much attention to what. Oh my gosh, has Ree won?
No,
Maybe.
not quite.
Oh.
Okay. So whatever you do, you can't let Ree get those magpies. I can't stop Ree though.
I unfortunately cannot either. However, okay, Bez, have you got either an owl or a flamingo?
No, I'm not going to.
Teaming up.
Oh, what?
Nah, come on.
Come on, Ree will
I'm
win
going-
if we. No,
Going to do that and draw. Okay. I mean, the question is, does Ree have a robin or a flamingo or a toucan?
That's the question. You didn't want those robins, did you?
I didn't, but there's nothing I can do about it. Now the duck has appeared in the one place I didn't want it to appear. Curse you, duck!
Ooh.
Aha!
Ooh.
My chance at a duck re-emerges.
Interesting. Unless, of course. But yes, if I were to put down and take all those ducks, then that would open it up to Ree.
Don't do it.
Laurie's just saying that because he likes me losing, don't you?
I like me winning. That's the difference.
It's so rare that you win.
It is. It doesn't sound like it is because the last few days of playing Board Game Arena have actually ended up with me winning quite a few games. But generally speaking,
You know what?
How many ducks? How? All of them. It is a duck fest. Now I have to own up to the horrible fact that I actually can't take any of those ducks because I don't have a magpie.
Oh, dear.
Oh wow.
So they're so close and yet so far, just out of reach.
Yeah, see, the
And
reason you
bye, Alex. Have a nice evening yourself. And
don't have a die.
bye, Alex. Thanks for popping in. And Panic says, "What the duck is going on?"
I know.
What are you gonna do,
I
Lon?
don't know what to do. Okay. Right. I'm gonna have to do the gambit. I'm gonna.
Are you drawing a couple of cards, hoping for something?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Ooh, risky.
Okay, so the question is, are you going to win, Ree?
That is the question. Am I going to win?
The answer is
No.
God
Yes, I win.
damn
Oh, sorry.
it.
Because I think as long as I don't mess up, there are technically 2 ways for me to win. But I will go
Yeah.
Nice.
all the ducks, fly home. Wait a minute.
Not quite, because you need one more set.
Isn't that 2 or 3 different things? I've got
Well.
2 ducks, 2 magpies, and 2 parrots.
It's 3 of 2. Yeah.
It should work then.
Oh. Now it's saying 3 birds of one species and 3 of another. Was it? I thought last game it was. Yeah, I'm confused now.
I'm confused as well.
I thought it was 2. Yeah, 2 species of at least 3 birds. So here, yeah, there.
It's moot. Ree has won. We will never know the other ways of winning because Ree has stolen it from us.
let me go to the final situation. So Ree got it by having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well done. Or 2 species of at least 3 birds.
2 species, at least 3.
At the end of the game thing.
Yeah. Maybe we're going to have to download the actual rules.
Yeah, check it out.
Because we had that before, didn't we, Lon?
Yeah.
Where we thought for sure I was going to win, and then it didn't. So that's.
Yes, 2 of 3, not 3 of 2. And if you look at the top, it actually has different. The objective of the game is to build a collection that either contains 7 different species or contains 3 birds of one species and 3 of another. So yeah, there's some sorts of issue there, but last game I won by having. I wonder if there's a simple way to report that. Ah well. But congratulations.
Yeah, well done, Ree.
Thank you very much.
And so yes, I think that let's talk about what we felt about the game. Do you think you'll be playing it more? Do you think you'll be playing it for a while to come? Do you think you might even get the game in real life?
I probably will keep playing it here and there. I think it's a good game to sort of lead into a longer game. I like to do a little warm up of games before I play a bigger one normally. So having something short and sweet like this is a good thing for me. I'm not sure about the physical version. I'd like to have a look at it, and because this is the first time I've actually heard about it on Board Game Arena. But yeah, what about you, Lon?
Yeah, I like that it has the kind of multi levels of complexity to it, but at the same time it's really easy to pick up. I think, as you say, it probably would be better if all of the win conditions were actually functional.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I think it's a good, I suppose, is entry level the right term for it? You know, it's a good kind of entry level game where someone who's new to either playing digitally or you know, would like a sort of something easy to begin with before we go into a tougher game. I think it's perfect for that kind of thing. So I think I'd play it in that regard again, for sure.
I think there's a lot of really interesting decisions to be made here. The fact that when you play something, you've got to play everything of that type. And so it's forcing you to give a bit of information. It's forcing you to potentially set something up for your opponent. It's forcing you into making some really difficult decisions at times.
Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic thing. The fact that you can, at minimum, get a couple of random cards, and that option's always available to you, I also really like that. At the end, I was just kind of thinking, okay, I'll just draw randomly. If I get an owl, then I win. And yeah, it has a little bit of excitement. It's got quite a good amount of variance. I think, yeah, there's definitely a lot to wrap your head around. And the first time I played it was, you know, just with random people without looking at the rules. And it was like, oh, what's even going on here? I don't even understand it, because it's, even though there's nothing in it that's super complicated, there is a process and there are some steps that you might have not recognized in other games. I mean, okay, if you put something here, if it sandwiches things, boom, you get stuff. And that's a really nice concept. Okay, you need to put everything. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, the set collection, that makes sense. But it's mainly the sandwiching and the, if you don't pick up something, then you draw 2 cards. And those are really interesting rules that I think have deeper ramifications than it first appears.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's why Board Game Arena in particular lends to sort of quite small, concise games like that, because you can build the functionality into it so that even if you go in and you haven't really read the rules properly and whatever else, you are limited in what you can actually do. Unlike tabletop simulator or similar, you can't just kind of go, well, where do I put anything? Does this go here? Do I put all the things down or not? It knows what you can do, and you just have to kind of learn through what is possible. And I think that's quite in a way, quite a unique way to learn a game, because you only have so many actions you can actually physically do. And so if you misread a rule, and you're like, well, okay, I think that's how it works, but then it doesn't actually work like that in the system, then you're like, oh, well, then I'll have to reconsider what that actually meant, which I think is quite interesting, because when you get a rule book for the first time, when you've got a brand new game, you're just like, right, I have to completely understand this, because if I get anything wrong, all the other chunks of this game are suddenly going to not make any sense. Yeah, so I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, and I know that with my friend Xate, who sometimes does like to literally just click around and not even bother reading the rules, just to see, okay, this is a fine way of playing a game, of learning it, just seeing what's possible. Sorry, Rhea, I interrupted you.
That's okay. I was just going to say, I wonder how many times people cheat with the physical version. Because, you know, given that you have to put all of one type down, I wonder how many people keep a few back.
We have to assume that people don't do that, otherwise
True,
the game doesn't work.
It's also a child-friendly game, and having the cheating is all part of playing.
That's an interesting point. That this is definitely a game I hadn't considered that would be really easy to cheat at. But yeah, and to catch someone, you would need a really good memory to say, hey, wait a minute, you put down a thing, but then you got those. Yeah, you know what? You're probably going to get caught if people have got a good enough memory, but yeah, I can see, or sure, a certain type of person being really tempted by that. Would you think of making one of your games onto Board Game Arena? Are you a programmer?
I'm not a programmer. I am actually dyscalculic, and so as a result, anything involving numbers on the whole is really difficult for me. Generally I'm also dyslexic, which means that words ain't exactly my strong point. But the important thing is that, like, the whole thing with PHP and C and all that sort of thing, the designer of Pugs and Mugs, Stuart Lawrence, that's his job. His job is to literally work with those things. He's very much a coder. And so now that I know how well it works, I'm sort of thinking maybe I should get in contact with them and say, hey, Stu, you should make Pugs and Mugs on Board Game Arena, because I think it will work really well. Much like Cubirds, it's quite a small but contained game with very distinct actions. I think it'd be really easy to recreate. If there was a way we could make it, I definitely would want to.
Yeah, I think that those kinds of games do work nicely, and I'm hoping to, within the next year or so, have, like, we'll see how things go, but I would love to have Couple or Alphabetical, one of the LDEC games up there. Panic Game says, if people are cheating, then of course stop playing with those heathens, by which Panic's talking about cheaters.
Well, I mean, it's different if it's kids. You know, and Rhea was referring to her siblings and such. They're all pretty young. If there's kids that are cheating,
they were pretty young.
They're
not that young anymore.
I suppose that's true. They do grow quick. But nonetheless, yeah, sometimes you can let people get away with it. But I think, I don't know, thinking about it, I don't really know any adults that would cheat at games. I think that's something maybe we grow out of as we get older.
I know a few.
Oh, really? Okay, just me then.
I think it depends. I don't know anyone. I know at least one person that I used to go out with, and yeah, they admitted to cheating at One Night Ultimate Werewolf, and basically it's quite easy to cheat in games where you're meant to be closing your eyes and maybe you don't close your eyes, or you look at something that you're not meant to when everyone else's eyes are closed. And they were like, oh, this is how I did it. So I was like, oh, that's, but yeah, cheating is its own kind of issue. But listen, I am thinking that it is probably time to just say thank you very much. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Ree. It has been lovely playing with you. Thank you for making this wee date with me. I know that date sounds like there's a romantic nature to it, but I still haven't found a better word, because appointment sounds like we're having some sort of very formal business meeting.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no, I prefer date. I think that works well.
For sure.
And it's been lovely playing with you. Yeah, thank you for having us on.
Thank you. And yeah, so if you want to check out Luke and Laurie, where do you want to be found?
Well, you could come by our Discord server where you can talk to us in person about what we're doing, and in general get involved in events and such that we run. You can also come by our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter.
Most social media, you will find us there.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you want updates and such on our games and things that we're doing and what we're working on, then drop your email in our mailing list, and you'll be kept well in touch.
And if people don't know where, I think everyone in the chat knows where to find me. I am basically Stuff by Bez everywhere, and I'm going to put the links into Twitch. So yeah, please check out Aldeck. Twitter is probably the one that I would most like. If you're not already following it, then twitter.com/ELL_deck. And there's fun games. There's basically about one post a day. It's kind of like, hey, here's a new puzzle that takes you about 30 seconds to work out, but it might be fun. And yesterday's puzzle, I have to admit, I looked at everyone else's answers. I tried to find a new answer, and I had to use some electronic aids just to verify the words. But I managed to do it. It took me a few minutes, but I felt a small sense of satisfaction. And that's what it's all about. Sometimes having a small sense of satisfaction to start off your day, or to pump you up in the middle of the day, or whatever.
I've really loved taking part in the little challenges you put up on Twitter. It's really good fun.
Oh, thank you. And for our final words, I like to say, over to you. What are you up to? You can share, but only if you want to. If anyone's got anything that they need to be doing or are looking forward to be doing, whether it's frivolous or serious, you can let us know. There's a wee bit of chat where Slivers asks, Panic, what about cheating and exploiting in single-player games? And yeah, well, that's its own topic, but certainly you can't stop playing with yourself.
Yeah.
That's an unfortunate thing.
You decide whether or not you can live with yourself for that, really.
That's it. Yeah, the only person you're cheating is yourself in a weird way. Like, what does that say about you?
I think that with a game, if you change the rules halfway through, then maybe that's fine. But that's not really... Well, you can't say that I won this game. You say, well, I won that version of the game that I played. I mean, if I want to play Pandemic, where I choose what cards come up, well, then I won a version of Pandemic in which I chose what cards come up. It was really easy. Or I sometimes house rule things to my advantage in solo games. I'm not going to deny it, because sometimes I just don't like the random luck. If there's a die roll, I might just say, okay, this is always going to be, the average. And I will always get this just because I don't find that exciting. I don't find, oh, am I going to get the 2 that I need, or is it going to be only a 1?
Yeah.
That's just...
I guess the whole point of games is to enjoy yourself and have fun. And if you can see a way to further improve your fun, then why not go for it?
Yeah. Now that I won't deny that since you've been talking, I've been sort of thinking about it. And if I don't actually think necessarily it's what it says about you, but actually possibly what it says about the rules in themselves. A solo game is obviously designed to be played on your own. And if something about those rules give you an inclination or a desire in any way to cheat, that something is missing, I think. What is it that is feeling...
Well, it doesn't mean the game is necessarily bad. It just means it's maybe not the perfect fit for you. And maybe if you change this one thing, it would be a better fit for you. And by the same token, if you are playing a multiplayer game, whether that's a story game or a... I think the reason for rules is to set some expectations and be on the same page with other people. If you then say, I'm actually going to do this other thing, other people are naturally going to be a bit upset by that. Some people don't care at all about the rules. I think that people who are maybe on the autistic spectrum are going to be a bit more bothered by mid-game rule changes than people who aren't. Unless, of course, you are in a playtest situation, which is, again, completely different, where you say, you know what, I am just making up this game. I have no idea what's going to go on, but if we can play a couple of rounds, then I will change the rules and make it work, and please carry on. That's a completely different situation, where it's not like you're really playing a game, because to play the game, I think you have to have agreed consciously to those sets of rules and to be continuing to adhere to them. Liver says, I look at every game and rules more as a starting point and will alter the game to fit my style enjoyment every single time. But if I am playing with a group, that's always tempered quite a bit. Or it's less. Of course, you need to think of the other peeps. But yeah, do you have any other things to say, whether it's about changing rules, house ruling, cheating, or things that you're getting up to?
No, I think I'm all good, other than the fact that the dog is probably going to start darting around because there is a fly and he likes to chase flies. So excuse him if he goes nuts in the background.
Yeah. We actually had quite an interesting change with was it Lost Valley of the Dinosaurs quite recently, because that's a roller move, and I think that was one of the things that that's one of the things that gets a lot of people, is that like whether you win or lose is just determined by how well you roll, and we changed it to a movement action point system, where like if you roll high you get an additional movement point, if you roll low then you get like, and that's like 1 or a 6. Like if it's an extreme high or an extreme low, you get 1 more or 1 less. So the element of luck is still involved, but you just go a little bit further or a little bit less far. And we found that to be a lot more fair and a lot more enjoyable in terms of, and tactical as well, in terms of its play style. So yeah, but
yeah. So I guess even in a group setting, you can take a game mechanic and throw it out the window if you think you have a way of it working, as long as everyone agrees to begin with.
Yeah, pretty much.
100%. And I think that's a nice note to end on. Games are all about fun. Agree how you're going to have the fun and enjoy them. I guess that's one thing you can't do with Board Game Arena, of course. If I choose to, hey, let's... But then, of course, that's one thing that's root. Until yesterday, for some reason, my Steam just stopped working. And I'm going to maybe ask Chris to see if Chris can work it out for me, because I'm not very good at tech in general. But there was a message, and then I clicked, no, I don't want to update right now. And then since then, everything's been crashing whenever I open it. And I can't work out how to try to update it. Because it's weird, because normally it's when you do an update that things should change. But I said no, and then everything started crashing, which was... Anyway. But... for now, we are going to raid. So please copy paste the raid message. I have looked on Twitch. Normally, I like to say hello to our friend Duchess on Thursdays, but Duchess doesn't seem to be streaming. So rather than a board game person, I am going to raid just Joanne, who is playing music, originals, traditional folk music, all sorts of stuff. And this is a family-friendly show. And Panic suggests that maybe I just angered the steamy gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very likely.
Thank you for being here, Slivers. Thank you, Panic. Thank you, everyone who was here earlier. Thank you, Laurie. Thank you, Ree. And there is only one thing left to say, and that is, of course, to say bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye, Panic. Bye, bye, Laurie.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, bye, Ree. Bye, bye, Slivers. And that's pretty much the end. And now I'm going to stare at you awkwardly for about 20 seconds. Just,
Well, I'm
you know,
gonna
in
stare
the shared
awkwardly
moment.
right back. How do you like that?
I enjoy it very much.
I'm glad.
This is it. Initiate staring process. Wow, those were some big eyes.
Ultimate staring eyes.
If I didn't have the moving shadows in the back, you might think that I was frozen. Anyway, bye.
Bye.